Welcome to Dreams Inspire Reality Podcast with Tara Darnley, a podcast for creatives looking to turn their dreams into reality with practical strategic steps from everyday people and entrepreneurs who are living their best lives possible.
Hello, guys. Today, I'm so excited about my guest. Shantae is the CEO and founder of a vibrant new t-shirt line, Cocoa Pie Clothing. She's a mompreneur of two awesome daughters and also kidpreneurs. Shantae is passionate about celebrating the beauty within ethnicity. She has both a personal and professional commitment to combat colorism. So, Shantae, I am so happy to have you on. I have been admiring your brand for the longest, and I was finally able to support your brand, and my daughter completely loves your brand. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, are you living your dream life right now?
Well, first off, thank you so very much. And I'm so happy your daughter likes my shirt. Yay. I would say I'm close to living my dream life, as I am still currently employed full-time in addition to my daughter's business, Ken and Kate Snow Cones, full-time. So I think once I'm able to do that and completely put 100% of my attention to both businesses, then I'll be definitely living my dream life. But I'm working towards it. I'm getting there.
I love that. And that's most of our guest stories. So I love that we're able to come on this journey with you. So we're able to see the growth and see some of the challenges you face, as well as celebrate the success along the way. A lot of people have tons of dreams, like you just mentioned your dreams, but they lack the resources, the drive, and the capital to turn them into reality. How were you able to turn your dreams into reality? And since you say you're working on them, how are you working on them right now to turn those into reality?
I basically had to get very realistic with myself, and what that translates into is starting exactly where I was at. So I really recommend that people just start where they are. Sometimes your expectations exceed your reality, and you start to try to bite off more than you can chew, or you begin to overwhelm yourself. So what I did is realize my capability was limited in a sense, working full time, being a single mother of two daughters. There was only so much time that I had in a day. So I really started to, again, just be realistic and do what I can do each day, which meant taking one course or investing in different webinars that people had when I could do it. Using my full-time job that I had to fund my business, and realizing that, as you mentioned, I didn't have all the capital that I needed. I didn't have all the capital that I wished to have, but I just built slowly and snowballed from what I did have. And eventually, inventory started to pick up, sales started to pick up. And when they did, I was able to then reinvest that money back into my business, and it just grew gradually.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned that you are using your current job to invest in your business. And I think so oftentimes now we see on social media where there is this, job shaming, like you shouldn't have a job. You should just be an entrepreneur. But how are we going to invest, in our business? I think that was so important that you shared with our audience that, that's what you're currently doing to, make your dreams a reality. And that's okay. Like, do
Right.
what works for you. Let's talk about your
Absolutely.
company. You have a t-shirt line, and in most industries, whether you're going in or there's always a challenge of, is that industry crowded? What's going to make you different? How are you going to stand out? What are some of the challenges you face as an up and coming new t-shirt line, specifically geared for, children of color? What are some of the challenges you're facing, if any?
I think some of the challenges that I faced initially was just gaining that visibility. Arizona is not a very diverse state, so I had a little difficulty finding my audience. I kind of turned to social media initially to kind of jumpstart, my business and try to get it out there faster, but it was still difficult, just because you build it, as you know, doesn't mean everyone's going to come. So in addition, I started working on the ground, going to events on the ground, going old school, doing things word of mouth, passing out business cards hand to hand, passing out stickers hand to hand. In addition to that, some of the challenges were printing because I was, it was just me running my business. I couldn't print in these huge bulk quantities that, your typical much larger company could print in. So I had to start much smaller. But, as I mentioned previously, gradually things grew. Gradually, people started to share my business through word of mouth. People would do reviews, but I just took the challenges as they came. There was definitely a lot of them, but, I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and I just did what I could do with what I had.
And what were some of the platforms that you were successful in, selling your products or just being visible? What were some of the platforms that worked for you? And how did it feel getting your first sale?
Oh my goodness. I would say Facebook was very instrumental in the success of my business. Immediately following that, I'd have to say Periscope and the introduction of Black Bizscope. That really, really kind of just skyrocketed my visibility outside of Arizona. So I think when I got my first sale, it was from a mother in a Facebook group, in one of the parenting groups. There's a ton of those. And she shared a photo of her daughter, and her daughter looked identical to my shirt. And it was I was ecstatic. I could not believe it. It wasn't even about money to me. It was just the fact that someone seeing what I created, they were able to understand why I created what I did. And they were so full of joy because of what I created that they decided to share it. And as a result of that, a lot of other mothers purchased as well. So it was an incredible feeling. And it's something that I will never, ever forget. And that was a little over 6 years ago.
Wow. And without a doubt, I am sure the most inspiration comes from your daughter. Being that they're probably who pushes you to do what you do, what inspired the line to begin with? Can you share with us, why did you feel there was a need for this? And how have you seen the changes in, when people purchase your product? What are some of the things parents are saying to you?
Okay, it was definitely inspired by my daughter. My oldest daughter, Michaela, at the time was a toddler. She was only about 2 or 3 years old. We walked into, a huge retailer, and she seen a T-shirt with a little brown girl on it, and she was convinced this little girl was her. And of course, I bought the T-shirt. My daughter wore this shirt until she could not wear it anymore, until it lost its color. It was too small. And I went back, searching for something else for her, and we could not find anything. I mean, all the huge mainstream places that you could probably imagine that sell little girls' clothes, they didn't have anything similar to this shirt. And it was really eye-opening to me, and I was kind of disappointed that I didn't even realize up to that point how underrepresented our children were in apparel until, I had that experience. So I said, you know what, this is ridiculous. So I said, I'm going to create something myself. I'm going to create something that looks like my baby girl. And I hope it fills the void that my daughter at that moment felt. When people started to gravitate towards the concept and gravitate towards the T-shirt, they would literally email me and message me and say, my little girl, I had people with toddlers saying that they didn't like their skin, they didn't like their hair, but that they would not take my T-shirts off of their backs, that they would not take them off. So it was extremely fulfilling because I was receiving the feedback almost immediately, and I still do. So it's indescribable. I didn't set out to make money with my business. I just set out to make my daughter feel seen, to make her feel visible, and to know I've done that for so many other little girls. It's a very priceless feeling.
I love when companies, come out of just, solving a problem. You solved a problem that you thought that you were the only one facing, and to find that, it's changing lives. little girls around the world now are more encouraged because they could see themselves on your apparel. Let's talk about, like, like I mentioned before, there's tons of t-shirt companies, out there now, but what separates your business from others? What, if anything, can't be replicated?
I think just the sheer reason why I started my company, it's very authentic. It's very much a real thing. It's not to shun or diminish or belittle anyone else, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money in business. Ultimately, you're going to get to a point where you're going to want to scale your business and you're going to do what you have to do to become profitable. Yet when I started, it was literally from the heart. And my t-shirts were designed in my daughter's image. I worked with a graphic designer and I said, you know what? I want her to look like my daughter, and we had struggles, whereas, the designs, it came back very fair skinned initially, and I had to say, make her darker, make her a little bit darker, make her a little bit darker. So the colorism aspect is very real. And I've even had, unfortunately, experiences where people would express that they would purchase the shirt if she was fairer skinned or if I had a much lighter version. But my daughter is not fairer skinned. My daughter is not lighter. Had she been, the product would be. So my product is very authentic in a sense that it is specifically, it represents my child. It's not just something random or that I made up. It's very much real. And my t-shirts are both named after my daughters. That's why they're named Michaela and Kennedy.
And speaking about the imagery, I know you went through, some negative things, not recently, but in the past, where your images were stolen and replicated. Can you speak about that? Because that seems to be a very common thing, just having your product either copied. How were you able to deal with that and rise above that?
It was very difficult because I hadn't experienced anything like that. I did, copyright my images. I did the trademarking. Cocoa Pie Clothing is also federally registered. So I was naive, like most business owners are, and they have this belief that if they take those steps, that they're just, no one can come and infringe upon, your intellectual property. And it's so far from the truth. It doesn't matter. Unfortunately, there are people out there that will try to replicate what you do, regardless of what measures you've taken to protect what you created. In addition to that, these were images of my children. They represented my children. So it felt very personal. It wasn't just an image or a design or, a slogan. I felt like they were stealing the essence of why I started my business. So it felt very personal. I was able to overcome it because I had so much support from other friends and businesses who tweeted the company, who called the company, who emailed the company, who, live streamed on Facebook, on Periscope to inform people, to support my company and to not support the other company. So having that tribe of people around me, it was very, very instrumental in my not, losing sight of why I started my business.
And what was your number one takeaway or lesson from that experience? And what advice would you give to anyone listening that, they want to protect their brand, or, they probably going through the same thing right now? Like, what's the number one lesson and advice you would give to them?
My number one lesson is probably to, one, don't think that, your intellectual property of what you created can't be infringed on, because it can be. Just hopefully it won't be. Your intellectual property is really only as strong as your ability to reinforce it, to defend it. So make sure you do your due diligence and you research, and you have, an attorney, an IP attorney, or someone that can send cease and desist letters, or that the process to take in order to get your designs or whatever have you removed. So just make sure you're educated in the process that you will have to go through in order to rectify the situation. In addition to that, it's not the end of the world. I when it first happened, I overreacted. I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to lose so much money. All these horrible things are going to happen. And none of it happened. The world didn't end. I got over it. They got all my designs taken down, and I was able to carry on. So again, I just say educate yourself in the process. Take the steps to protect your intellectual property. Get trademarks, get copyrights, whatever may have you. Take the time to invest in what you've created, and then, unfortunately, if something does happen, just make sure you're prepared to take the steps to rectify the situation. You'll be okay.
That was amazing advice because I think so often we hear, you want to, like you said, you want to have a strong portfolio, protecting your IPs, but they only go as far as you actually protecting them, which may
Mm-hmm.
cost money. So I think, like you said, sometimes you get naive, like, okay, this is mine, it's trademarked, this is patented, you cannot touch it. But in reality, some people just don't care. So that
Right.
was excellent advice. On a more upbeat side, let's talk about your daughters and what they're doing now, because I know they just launched a new company. How has that been, and what are some lessons you guys are learning along the way?
It's been really good. I mean, they started organically, just like Mom's company started. I took them to a huge food festival. My daughter seen someone selling shaved ice, and they were selling, a couple of shaved ice for about like $7. And my oldest daughter was about 8 at the time, and she said, "Mom, this is ice and like syrup for $7. Can I do this?" She was just thinking I could get $7 for a cup of ice. And I told her, absolutely you can do it. I bought them little $30 machine. They made about $15 that first day. They kept making money. They kept going out every weekend and making money. So I just invested in the fact that they actually wanted to do it and they became serious about it. One thing about me with my children is I don't try to project anything on them. I try to introduce them to different things so that they can gravitate towards what they want to do. So their business came about organically. The point to which it's reached has came about because of their interest and their dedication, and they're expressing to me that they wanted to do it. I mean, they had a TV appearance. They've been to several different fairs. They're going to do the Arizona Children's Business Fair in about 3 weeks here. So they've done an excellent job, and I really recommend it for children, who are a bit on the shyer side. My youngest daughter, Kennedy, really was so painfully shy that it worried me. But when this girl got out and started getting quarters and dollars, I cannot tell you what a different child she is. So I've seen the effect that I have seen the effect that entrepreneurship can have on a child's confidence. I've seen my children's communication skills increase just and to an amount I can't even explain. They're extremely personable because of entrepreneurship. They're able to handle different situations, and they're very much sure of themselves and outspoken. So it's definitely something that I recommend, especially for parents with children of color, because we already have certain things stacked against us already. So to create that sort of economic foundation in your children that they do have the ability to provide for themselves is very integral to, creating that legacy for their children as well.
And that is so true. Once these kids know how to calculate and numbers and money,
Mm-hmm.
that's their little motivation right there. And that's definitely a great tip. And I love that you mentioned that, you didn't just say, okay, guys, this is what you're going to do. You allow them to come into what they love. And even something, so small, but it's a big deal for them because now they could look and say, this is mine. This is my own company. So let's get into some business, tools. Automation has given us hands-free and innovative approach to systemizing and critical business processes to save time and make more money. What are your top 5 processes in your business to enhance productivity and increase revenue?
Oh goodness, let's see, top five. First off, I would probably say my top item isn't necessarily a process, but it's more of an awareness and trying to be present in whoever and whatever needs me most, because I am still employed full time and I also am a mother. So I have to constantly be mindful of, when my children need me versus, when my business needs me versus when things in my personal life needs me. So having that awareness and being mindful and committed to that kind of affects everything else. So I would say, secondly, in terms of automation, I would say scheduling my content, because I don't have, as much time as other people who might be staying at home or not employed as well. So I would definitely say scheduling my content. My third thing is starting to delegate tasks. Initially, when I started out, I tried to do everything. And I was so afraid of letting go a lot of my tasks because I didn't think people would do them correctly, or I didn't think they would do them like I would. I felt like I know best, I can do best. And that will wear you down very quickly. So delegating tasks and not being afraid to pay people. Pay someone to design your website, because trust me, 9 times out of 10, if you're not a graphic designer, they'll likely do a better job than you.
Very true.
In addition, in addition to that, goodness, let me think of some other processes that I have. Probably, I would say, definitely developing partnerships and working with other people and doing that in a genuine manner. A lot of the business that I've had and a lot of the opportunities that I've come across have been from creating relationships with other women in business, other men in business, just organically, not with an expectation to receive anything, just creating a genuine friendship first. So I've been able to see all sorts of benefits of just being myself, being genuine, being personal. So the majority of people might not think that's a process, but it really is. When you're in business, you have to be mindful of how you project yourself in addition to how you project your business, because you will eventually represent your business. The persona that you present, it will, run hand in hand with your business. And let me see what I would say. Lastly, I have five, so I have one more. Let's see, automation and processes. I would probably say, for me, what's been a huge thing is drop shipping, third party fulfillment. Because when I started, I was doing everything. I was taking the orders, packing the orders, shipping the orders, and it just quickly became too much. I was able to go through my numbers and really look at the cost of my labor, which I never even considered to do. So I would say outsourcing fulfillment was a huge, huge eye opener for me, in terms of me just being able to have much more time with my children, much more time with myself, and be able to step outside of my business instead of being so involved in it. Because sometimes when you're so engulfed in your business in that way, you cannot look at it from the aspect that you need to and see what's really happening from all directions. So hopefully that makes sense.
Oh, definitely. That was lots of great tips. Now we're going to go into our fun round. What was the last book you read?
Oh my goodness, the last book I read, I haven't finished it, but it's Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria? And it's extremely eye-opening. I'm still reading that book. I would say the last book I read in its entirety was probably, oh goodness, They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima, which is a good book as well.
Love it. Last business win.
My last business was
latest business.
This podcast. Talking to you because you are like so amazing to me. Just knowing that you're also a mother, and when I seen your investment win, and you were pregnant, and I'm currently almost 6 months. It just meant a lot to me because it's difficult, having a family and having a business. So to see you kind of, still pursuing your dream as well while expecting and while having a family, it's extremely inspiring. So this is not anything that I consider lightly to be talking to you. So I say this.
Me. Well, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And you guys inspire me as well. You definitely inspired me as well. What is your favorite business tool that you cannot live without?
Goodness.
You just can't live without?
Probably MailChimp. MailChimp. email automation, because yes, definitely email. I couldn't live without being able to reach my subscribers so quickly, so easily, and to see the return on that is incredible. So absolutely email automation.
I'm with you on that one. What was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched was The Revenant.
The Revenant. And who's your favorite entrepreneur?
Oh my goodness. My favorite entrepreneur. Oh goodness, that's a difficult one because there's so many. I would probably say Christine Saintville of Magna. She's my favorite entrepreneur because of the platform that she has, the way that she expresses it, but the way that she invests in other women, just the way her business and her as an individual and a woman. So I would say her.
I love Christine, and we actually just wrapped up an interview with her. So, and I love that you guys.
Really?
Yes, all the answers are coming back to back with the favorites. So I love it. And lastly, what was your latest business failure and the lesson learned that you could share with our audience?
I will probably say before I made the shift to outsourcing fulfillment, just having way too much inventory on hand. I don't think I pushed hard enough to rid myself of that. I think a lot of people are constantly, I kind of mentioned this earlier, when you're too engulfed in your business, you can't necessarily see where your money pits are. So you just go to the next process instead of fixing the problem that you currently have. And a lot of people, I think, have this problem. They have too much, they offer too many products, and they don't scale enough so that they can see where they're losing money at. And that's one thing that I think I didn't do. I think I just switched over to outsourcing fulfillment so quickly, but I had, a large sum of money in terms of inventory just sitting. So it became difficult to try to push both avenues, to try to push, selling inventory that I had on hand already, which obviously wasn't on the site, to the new fulfillment process. So I think that was definitely a huge learning opportunity. I should have spent more time with finding areas that I needed to improve on before just completely launching into, a new area.
That's definitely great advice. I hope that my audience was able to take away a lot, because you've shared definitely a lot of gems, especially in the space that you are in, that I know a lot of people are going into or they're already in. So I thank you so much for sharing. And please let the audience know where they can find you, where they can go and support you and get some of your amazing products.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I genuinely appreciate it. We're Cocoa Pie Clothing across all social media networks. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Pinterest, Cocoa Pie Clothing, and that's the website as well, www.cocopie, that's COCOPIE, clothing.com.
Thank you guys for joining. Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. And please visit our website at dreamsinspirereality.com for show notes and to find out more about Shantae. Bye. Hey guys, let's give a quick thanks to our sponsor, Dreams Inspire Reality. Are you unsure of the steps needed to turn your dreams into reality? Have you been sitting on that product idea and not sure how to bring it to market? We've successfully launched tons of products and distribute all over the globe. Let us help you get unstuck and take your idea to market with strategic advice and practical steps. Schedule a consultation today at dreamsinspirereality.com.